Welcome, it's New Thought Talk. I'm your host, Reverend Steve Walling, from the Spiritual Awareness Center, located in beautiful Fresno, California, in the California Central Valley. What a great place to be. And this is an interesting day, and it's kind of exciting, because I just found out today that looks like we may be also, besides being online, having a analog TV station pick us up for the show. I don't have the day and hour yet, but it will be on KSDI. That's 33.2. That's in the Fresno area. If you want to share us with some of your friends that don't necessarily have computer access to pick up the show, it's a great way to see it. So I'm excited about that. But also, if you've been following the show for any length of time, you know that we have been in Madera for many years, and we have just recently moved to Fresno. Our new location in Fresno is 4644 West Jennifer, and that's right near Shaw and 99. You can look it up on the map. You can see it on our webpage. And if you go to my Facebook page, you can find an event that notices this our Sunday meetings, which will be at 10 o'clock for meditation and 10:30 for our Sunday lesson. And I invite you out to join us if you're local here to the Fresno Madera area. We're always very inviting, and we welcome warmly any people that choose to show up on Sundays. It's a great group that we have there. So, because we are going to be on local TV, I thought I'd stick today talking mainly about the Spiritual Awareness Center and things of a local nature as regards to New Thought, how it affects our lives and also our communities. A little bit of history. Back in the 70s, we had a religious science church here called the Positive Living Center in Fresno, and Reverend Don Ringnes was the minister. Retired, I believe, in the late 80s, early 90s, but it was a rather large organization at the time. They had about 400 to 600 people in the center, or the church. It was called a church back then. And after Reverend Don retired, it went through various incarnations, and there was splits and splits and splits, and now we have multiple smaller centers. Most of them are called centers now instead of churches here in the Fresno area. But the point being is that if you are in the Fresno area, you can find New Thought centers to have a place to go and express your own individual spirituality in we call it a non-denominational center, because we don't focus on any particular dogma. What we do is we realize that there is a spirituality that is an integral part of each of us, that as we go in our day-to-day life, as we look to express our lives in a more full manner, at some point in time we often realize that there's something in our life that's lacking. We begin to look towards things spiritual. Oftentimes we may go to more established religious organizations, but for many people, they find that what I'll call old thought does not meet their spiritual needs. So, although we call it New Thought, has been around for many, many years, it's in varying times been very popular to moderately popular, but it's been around. A lot of New Thought principles over the years have been picked up and incorporated into our society and community at large. I mean, when you consider people like Dr. Norman Vincent Peale in his book, The Power of Positive Thinking, or, I can't think of the guy's name right offhand, but Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. And from these individuals, Dale Carnegie, in his book on how to win friends, to people today like Tony Roberts and people that you saw if you happen to see the movie The Secret. There's just so much and in so many ways that New Thought philosophy has found its way into our everyday activities, and most people have no idea where it came from. And it came out of something called New Thought. And New Thought is not new, like I said earlier. New Thought is a new way of thinking, and that's what it describes. For each of us to embody new thoughts within ourselves, and that becomes an understanding, an important understanding, when we begin to realize that it is within our own minds and within our own beingness that we actually create our own reality, because it's there that we make our connection inwardly and internally with what people call God or Spirit or First Cause or Principle. There's many different names, and in New Thought we really don't hang a particular name on this beingness that we call God, because there are so many different ways to describe or to name God, and we always have an understanding that no matter what name you use or how you describe, you never really incorporate the totality or of the beingness of what we call God. And so we've been around, we've been providing a spiritual home for people, many walks of life, and we have been sharing these principles and these tools. And like I say, a lot of them have made their way out into society. And why is that important? It's important because when we begin to realize that there is something within us that reacts to the something that's outside of us, and it reacts in such a way that it is a creative force. Now, we call that law. The law of cause and effect is one of the names that is given to it. The law of attraction is another name that's given to it. But it's a law that governs our relationship with the material world or the exterior world. And basically, it is a medium that is responsive to our thoughts. And our thoughts are very powerful. And oftentimes we tend to think that our thoughts make up that power base within us, but in truth, it's not our thoughts. Our thoughts are just a reflection of something we hold much deeper, and that's our beliefs. So beliefs become very important in our life. If you believe that life is good, and if you know people that believe life is good, surprise, surprise, these people experience what they call a good life. If you believe life is tough, you experience a tough life. The thing is that our beliefs form the underpinning of our thoughts, and our thoughts interact with the law and create the reality that we experience. So if we're not experiencing the kind of life that we want to live, we can change the way we interact with that which we call life. By changing the way we think, and by changing the way we think, we can begin to change our beliefs. And before you consider just turning that out of hand as foolishness, consider this. Everything that you believe today, you did not believe at one time. Every belief that you hold today, you have learned. You have learned, you have embodied it as a habitual way of interacting with the world. And some of those beliefs serve you well, and some of those beliefs don't serve you well. And there's a whole profession that deals with people who have beliefs that don't serve them well, and it's called psychology. Because people that have deeply held beliefs of inferiority or of difficulty acting with reality create very distressed and troubled lives. That's not the only function of psychology, but it is one of the major functions. So you can spend many years and lots of money delving into your psyche to try to determine what your beliefs are so that you can change your beliefs and so that you can live a better life. Or you can choose to do something a little different. And this is not something that, it's not something that is easily understood, but it's easily explained. And that is, you begin to work on your beliefs, as I said, and you work on your thinking. And there are practices, and we call those spiritual practices. There are tools that you can use in changing the way that your mind interacts with the world. And although this sounds kind of out there maybe a little bit. In recent times, as a result of something called a functional MRI, we being science, has been able to study the actual anatomy and the anatomical functioning of the brain. We've been able to locate within the brain various centers that are responsible for various activities that the brain performs. And one of those centers is something that they call the fear mechanism, the fear center. And it's encompassed in something called the amygdala, the hippocampus, and the prefrontal cortex. And that's a story for another day, other than the fact that there is a mechanism within the brain that automatically filters everything that comes into our consciousness, whether it comes in through our vision, whether it comes in through our sense of touch, whether it comes in through our hearing. Makes no difference. It's all filtered, pre-filtered, if you will, through this fear filter mechanism. And then judgments are made within that we're not even consciously aware of as to how we will react or respond to that. And oftentimes those judgments are based very solidly in subjective or subconscious beliefs that we hold. So as we begin to see and we look at this, how we believe, the beliefs that we hold, not only do they kind of guide us through the day consciously, they also have a very powerful role in our reacting to the stimulus and the world, the physical world around us. So, as a spiritual practice, wow, how does that compute? Spiritual practices, neuroanatomy, and fear filters. Well, listen, consider this. If you consider that there is a universe that is a result of, for right now, for just the sake of argument, is a result of some thing, some beingness. And if this universe, all of creation, is a result of this some beingness, and for our discussion, let's call it God, that this universe that is a result of a creative force called God, that is completely everywhere, infinite, there's no place, no space where God is not, and God is the creator. There cannot be two creators if God is infinite. There cannot be God and something opposed to God. There cannot be God and God's creation as something separate from God. So when we begin to look at God, God's creation, and we begin to see that in reality, in totality, it really is one. One God, one creation, one allness. And we are, on some level, some part of that allness. There's just one life. One life, this is God, and it's God expressing through each and every one of us. So at the Spiritual Awareness Center in Fresno, we talk about these things, and we discuss how we can utilize these various understandings, incorporate them in tools that we use daily. Tools like daily prayer work, tools like daily meditation, tools like affirmations that we use to change the way that we think and thus change our beliefs. So what we're going to do here, we're going to cut away to our first commercial break, and when we come back, we'll pick it up there and we'll move forward. Looking to see you then.
Christy Majors is your local real estate connection. With a solid, hardworking team, traditional listings, short sales, probate listings, and foreclosures are treated in a personal and caring way and closed in a timely fashion. Since 2009, Team Majors has closed more than $75 million worth of homes all over California. Reliable and trustworthy, Christy and her team will go the extra mile for every client, whether selling or buying a home. So give Team Majors a call at 559-464-5606 or visit teammajors.com.
Sal Contreras of JC's Lawn Service is the go-to guy for all your lawn care and landscaping needs. Just call Sal at 559-978-7730.
The Fifth Quarter, a restaurant and sports bar in Visalia. 24 of your favorite beers on tap and a full bar. Entertainment for all. Pool tables, karaoke, a DJ, and even a drag show. Watch the game with us and get some great food. Burgers, sushi, and much more. Don't wait for overtime. Head into the Fifth Quarter for a great time today.
Need a dentist? Call Dr. David Wright at 559-222-6213 or visit bitemedental.com.
CentralValleyTalk.com.
Welcome back to New Thought Talk. I am your host, Reverend Steve Walling, from the Spiritual Awareness Center, now located in Fresno. Anyway, before the break, I was talking about the concept, kind of briefly, some of the concepts of New Thought, or religious science, science of mind. And those are the things that when people come to the Spiritual Awareness Center, we talk about, we study, we have classes that teach various concepts and various spiritual tools. Classes like classes on meditation, or classes on creating affirmations, classes on creating something called a vision board. These are all tools that we can individually utilize to create our life experience. And you know, it doesn't get any more exciting, I don't think, in life when you begin to realize that you are the conductor and the controller, the engineer, and the captain of your life experience. That no matter what has happened in the past, you can start right now and create something new. So if you're experiencing life today and it's been a little tough, maybe you've had various issues in your life that have held you and are presently holding you down to a limiting consciousness, I'll say, that you're seeing life as a struggle. Life was never meant to be a struggle. Life was never meant to be hard. It couldn't be if you understand that if this divine presence, God, is everywhere, that if God has created all that is and is continuing this creative process, that as God has created mankind, and we have been told that this is in the image and likeness of God, and of course the understanding is that is a spiritual image and likeness, that we have on some level a connection to all of God's good and all of God's bounty and all of God's gift. And as a matter of fact, we believe and we teach that God's gift was given to each and every one of us in its entirety. Our job is to learn to open up within our hearts and minds to accept the gift that is already there. And you know, snippets of this understanding we have seen, like I said in the earlier segment, in society. We teach in business, for example, we teach people to set goals, and there's a whole teaching and philosophy around goal setting. But the ultimate thought behind it is those that set goals see their goals attained. And that's no different than someone spiritually who decides to create their own life, to begin to set life goals. They see their life attain those goals on all sorts of levels. And you know, each and every one of us are individuals, so what one of us may choose for his or her life experience is not what someone else would choose. And in an infinite presence and infinite God, we can all be and do and be supplied with all that we wish to be, do, and have. It's a concept that is foreign to many people. Oftentimes people think that God is this being that wants to keep humanity limited, that wants to make and have mankind struggle. Struggle for what? Why would God create us out of God's stuff, in God's image and likeness, only to hold something against us, to give us the ability to do things and then make us suffer for doing the things that we have done? Now, that doesn't mean that there's not a way to do and a way not to do things, absolutely. But you know what? If we didn't have the ability to make the choice of doing and not doing, we wouldn't have the ability to be creative in our own life. We would be nothing more than mechanical automatons. Having the ability to make choice, to choose to promote and to advance our life experience, or to choose to do things that would be counterproductive to our life experience, is what really empowers us as individuals. So we must be able to make choices that maybe aren't the best choices for us, and then suffer the consequences. On an individual level, this is a law of cause and effect that we understand, but this is a law that also governs humanity as a whole. And you can look at history and you can see how throughout history where mankind has moved in ways that have promoted humanity and promoted human spirituality, and we've moved in ways that were less than positive, I'll say. Some people describe it as evil. Destructive, absolutely. Counterproductive to humanity, absolutely. But each and every one of those instances were things that were created by individuals making decisions that could have been made in other and different ways. Maybe they didn't know, maybe they were living in ignorance, but as time has gone on, as humanity has advanced, we have come to a time today where we have an exploding, opening consciousness within humanity, an understanding of things like we never understood before. With the advent of computers and the advances in science and all levels of science, we're learning so much about the greater human reality itself and then creation itself. One of the things that we teach in religious science, New Thought, as I said in the last segment, that God is infinite and everywhere. For people that have an older concept of God, God is oftentimes described as infinite, but is given to a location, up in heaven, for example, or somewhere else. And I am not God expressed as me, I am something separate from God. Well, that doesn't make sense if God was in the beginning all there is, and if God in the beginning was all there is, then everything that exists from that point on has to be some part of God. And so as we begin to look at what we call reality and we look at what we call God, we begin to see that in truth, reality and God are one and the same. But God is so much more than what we understand reality to be, and we get that. But recently, and fairly recently, in theoretical physics, one of the new hypotheses, if you will, one of the new theories about the universe is that it is something they call undifferentiated consciousness. It's an interesting concept. We have, in science of mind, also referred to God as undifferentiated consciousness, and that humanity and creation is a differentiated consciousness, a coming together of what I'll say is God and God's stuff, God's substance, to create the reality that we experience. But behind and below all of that, behind these forms that we take to be as real, everything returns to the original source, the original substance, which is this thing that we call God, and only to be reutilized possibly again in creating other things. And as a spiritual concept, that's been around a long time. But as a concept in science, it's relatively new, but it is a theory that is catching on. It's amazing. So there is still a large field within physics that see reality as being nothing more than a spontaneous circumstance, and life within that reality is nothing more than a spontaneous circumstance, not related one to the other. But those thoughts are becoming marginalized as newer and more, what I'll say, more enlightened thoughts are taking hold, because the newer and more enlightened understanding gives a better foundation to all that we know as reality. And we incorporate these within our lifestyle. We incorporate these within our mind. We incorporate these within our day-to-day interactive experience with life, and we begin to see that, there are things in life that we accept as true that really aren't true. We accept them because we've been told that they've been so. And these things that we have accepted have become beliefs within us, and they have limited us. They've held us down. They've held us in bondage. When you realize that you can make a choice now, in this moment, in this now moment, you have an incredible amount of power within you, and that power is to make choices. And your first choice you make as you begin to move into a different life is to make that choice to move into a different life. Easy enough said, isn't it? Hard to do, because we have built up habitual ways of thinking over a period of time. And this is where becoming a participant in a local spiritual center of some type begins to be, it's like a support group. You begin to learn about the concepts of divine presence. You begin to learn about the rules that exist regarding the law of cause and effect. And when I say rules, they're not man-made rules. They're the rules that exist. They just exist because they do. It's no different than the rules or the laws of gravity or the rules and the law of electricity and transference of energy from one type to another. These things exist. Nobody made them up. They have been here since the beginning. And so it is with our spiritual understanding, so it is with our spiritual interaction with reality in the life we live. It becomes very exciting when we begin to see that we can make choices for better things in our life, and our choices don't start with making something outside of us do something. Our choices start with making something within us change. And that's our starting point. We start within, we work within, and we begin our creative process within ourselves. So we end up traveling, for those of us that don't know. We travel to New Thought centers, Science of Mind, Religious Science, Centers for Spiritual Living, Unity, Universal Foundation for Better Living, Divine Science, many of these other types. And you will see even within the greater Christian religion, you have people like Joel Goldsmith, who has incorporated a lot of New Thought philosophy and melded it with the traditional Christian teachings. But all of these things offer you the pathway, if you will, the tools, the understanding where you can begin to incorporate things in your life to work on yourself to create a better life. At this point, we're going to take our next commercial break, and we'll pick this up when we come back. See you then.
Clovis Bicycle is located at Bullard, Minnewawa, and Clovis near Dollar General. Featuring kids' bikes, cruisers, road or mountain bikes, and now featuring a selection of recumbent bikes. Check them out at clovisbicycle.com or call 325-2453.
Hi, Haven Young here again. Hey, join Mike Briggs and myself here at Central Valley Talk Studios, 1212 North Van Ness at Olive, the second and fourth Saturday at 2 p.m. That's August 13th and 27th. We're going to show you some more information on Moringa oleifera and give away a 6-day trial pack. That's right, show up and you might win a 6-day trial pack. And if you can't be here, go to our website, mostnutritiousPlant.com. Don't forget the hyphens. See you here.
Give your home and yard a facelift with Olivas Landscaping. Olivas Landscaping can make a tired yard look fresh again. Whether you need one-time or recurring service, repair, or a whole new design, contact Olivas Landscaping. Call Patrick Olivas at 273-0142.
Realtor Letty Pinjatori is a broker associate with Keller Williams, and she is also a voiceover artist. Contact Letty at 559-281-4568.
Need raisins? Call National Raisin Company at 559-834-5981 or online at nationalraisin.com.
CentralValleyTalk.com.
Welcome back, New Thought Talk. I'm the host, Reverend Steve Walling. We're talking about New Thought, religious science. I'm also talking to our Fresno audience as we are now being transmitted on, let's see, is it KSDI 33.2. That's exciting. Anyway, I want to pick it up where we left off, talking about God, this power that we have and this power within us. And I want to read you a couple things from the book entitled The Science of Mind that was written by Dr. Ernest Holmes. And in this particular instance, we're talking about the power within. And he says, we see that we have a power within which is greater than anything we shall ever contact, a power that can overcome every obstacle in our experience and set us safe, satisfied, and at peace healed, and prosperous in a new light and a new life. If God be for us, who can be against us? That's a pretty awesome statement when you think about it. But it's also a very true statement. There is a power within us. There's a power within us for good that is available to us. But it's available to us only at the level that we open ourselves up and be accepting and receptive to that power being there. You know, one of the things that Jesus taught, you'll find in the teaching of the New Testament, is that it is done unto us as we believe. And although there has been a whole volumes of theology that's built up around what this man said, there are people that have, in going back to the very earliest days of Christianity, there are people that have looked at his teachings and seen it as teachings that teach a higher consciousness, a metaphysical understanding of life, an understanding that the power is within us. I and my Father are one. The kingdom of heaven is to be found within. All that I can do, you can do that and much more. He who has the faith of a mustard seed can tell a mountain to move, and it will move. I mean, it goes on in the teachings, and these teachings were not taught with exception clauses. They were taught to people, to general audiences, to masses of people. And he was telling them how to incorporate a way of interacting with life in such a way that they could create better lives for themselves. So it says here further, it says God's creative power of mind is right here. We have as much of this power to use as we believe in and embody. We have as much of this power to use as we believe in and embody. That's magnificent, because it's solely and only tied to us. No one can control. No one outside of us can limit what we can understand or embody. No one outside of us can hold anything back from us. We have as much of this power to use as we believe in and embody, you and I, and each and every person. And what becomes so fantastic about this, in my understanding of this, is as we do this as individuals and we create this better life for ourselves, this more empowered life, this more abundant life, this more expressive life, what are we doing? It's not just affecting us as individuals, it's affecting our families, it's affecting our communities, and through our communities to our towns and cities and on beyond. We live in a time where there is so much chaos and turmoil in the world, and the absolute power to change that exists within each and every one of us. It's not some elected official out there, it's not your local town council, it's not whatever. It is you, within you, and you have that power. But you have to recognize you have to have that power. You have to believe that you have that power, and you have to embody that power and put it into practice in your day-to-day life. And these are things that when you show up at a New Thought Center or church, when you go to a church of religious science, when you go to a center for science of mind, that people, they teach these tools, they share these tools, and they help other people as they put these tools into practice in their life, and they see fantastic things demonstrate. Things from just experiencing life at a greater level to experiencing health at a greater level. Things like people that have had conditions, see those conditions eliminated in their life, whether they be health conditions or relationship conditions or job conditions or mental conditions. And there's a long history, a long documented history of these things happen. But you don't see it in mainstream society so much, because our world that we're usually used to is so tied into materiality and tied into the understanding that everything that takes place in your life is somehow a reflection of something that takes place outside of you, when in truth it's just the reverse. It's absolutely just the reverse. So just so far as we depend on any condition, past, present, or future, we are creating chaos, because we are then dealing with those conditions and effects and are not dealing with the causes, because the cause for our life experience lies within us. The cause for your life experience lies within you. The cause for your life expression lies within you. And that which lies within you, we call it God within, or Christ consciousness, or there's many different names that many organizations have given it. But really, it's just an understanding that God has expressed through you all that you are. And the only limitation to that expression being fully, totally, and completely expressed is the limitations that out of ignorance through our personal beliefs that we have put upon ourselves. We grow up in societies that tell us that we are limited. We grow up in families that tell us that we are limited. We go to school where people tell us that we are limited. We hear this, we're bombarded with it, the news, and on and on and on. And one day, when you awaken to the truth of who you are and you throw off the shackles of that limited thought and you begin to expand your acceptedness of a greater reality, a greater good, and then a greater God, you become so incredibly empowered to express your life. Now, the thing is, we don't come with a owner's manual that gives us the step-by-step directions to do that. So it's been an evolutionary process through the history of humanity, but it's always been there. If you take the time to study, you'll see that these teachings, they called the ancient masters or mystics, and they've been there through all the different eons and all the different centuries, but they've been looked at as exceptions, that they're not examples. And as these exceptions have been marginalized, humanity has been kept in a bound lifestyle, if you will, a limited lifestyle, where the belief is that I can lose, someone else is going to win, that there's only so much to go around, that life is a struggle, on and on and on. And we hear all these things. But in the background, we have also heard things, your life is what you make of it. Make a better life for yourself. You have the ability, think and grow rich, the power of positive consciousness. If you really want it, you can have it. I can will always triumph over I can't, and on and on. These sayings that exist throughout history. A great one was one by Mr. Ford of the Ford Motor Company, and he said, if you think you can or if you think you can't, either way you are correct. And that really is a very powerful understanding to live by. If you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you won't. You have the choice as to how you choose to think. You and no one else can make that choice for you. Change your thinking, you will change your beliefs. You change your beliefs, you will change your life. If someone were to show up at the front door of your house today with a pill and tell you that this pill will give you everything that you truly desire, would you turn them away? If someone speaking to you via a electronic medium tells you that you have the ability to create the kind of life that you want to live, will you out of hand just turn it away? The choice is yours, and it always has been. And that's the truth of who we are. The choice for our life experience is within us. God exists within us. Spirit exists within us. The power exists within us. But we have to remove the filters. We have to remove the fear. We have to open ourselves up to a different way of thinking. And as we do, we grow. But we set our own limitations. Do we desire to live in a world peopled with friends who love us, surrounded by things beautiful and pleasing? There is but one way, and this way is as certain as the sun shines. Daily we must control all thought that denies the real and affirm the divine presence within us. Daily we must control all thought that denies the real and affirms the divine presence within us. As I share this thought with you, I want you to consider that no matter what your personal current spiritual belief is, no matter what particular religion that you have belonged to, there's nothing in that statement that says you have to change any of your beliefs. All you have to do is understand that daily you must control the thought that denies the real, and you must affirm the divine presence within. And when I say denies the real, what we're talking about here is we must control thoughts that deny this that we experience in this physical material plane, because in truth this is only a condition and effect. Everything that you experience in life is nothing more than a manifestation of somebody else's thought. Somebody had to think to create paper to write books. Somebody else had to think to create print to put in the books and computers and so on. Everything existed at one time as a thought. We get that. That's very simple. But so is all life experience too. It all begins as a thought. And what we think today, based on what we believe today, is not necessarily what is the ultimate truth. The ultimate truth is there is a creative power and a force and a source that is available to you when you avail yourself to it. And so in Fresno, you have the Spiritual Awareness Center now, and we're located, like I said, at 4644 West Jennifer. That's out there, not too far from the Costco out on Shaw for local people. And we're looking forward to seeing our Fresno friends and family join us. For many years, we've been asked to come to Fresno from Madera, and so we finally took the plunge, so to speak. So I look forward to seeing you out there. And I'm going to talk to you more about that when we get back. I think Mike's got a map that he can put up, or I'm looking at, I think is a map. He'll put a map up here before we cut away to our break, and map shows you the location where we're at. It's a side street, and it is Suite 101, and I'm really excited about being there. Now we're not fully complete in how our setup is going to be. It will be evolving over the next week and months, and we have our congregation that is going to be and that is contributing to that, and we invite you to come out and to be part of that also. So there's the map of where we're going to be. Take a look, and I will see you and talk to you when we come back from our last break.
Custom Painting is here for you. We can help you achieve that custom look with premium paints and custom texture with quality workmanship at reasonable prices. Discounts for veterans and senior citizens. Prompt, reliable, professional, Elite Custom Painting delivers superior customer service, specializing in residential interior and exterior painting, cabinet repainting, wallpaper removal, and retexturing. Call today for your free estimate at 559-970-8154.
Realtor Letty Pinjatori is a broker associate with Keller Williams, and she is also a voiceover artist. Contact Letty at 559-281-4568.
I was an addict, an opiate addict.
Be 3 years clean in October.
I was renewed at the Fresno Rescue Mission. My mom, who does a lot of cooking, has been part of the rescue mission, has been willing to help teach people to make jams and jellies and other food.
Sa the Fresno Rescue Mission, do到一個學旅中聽一路音樂中，這個巴到北巴到個聽，我唱到。
And I believe that downtown Fresno needs a renewal as well.
Tree of Life Cafe represents new, healthy growth in downtown Fresno. I've seen men and women go through rehab programs. They want to start a new life. And yet when they get out on the street, they find it very difficult to get a job. Nobody will give them a chance. That's what this cafe is designed to do.
You will be like family to us. We will serve you our home-cooked food made with farm-fresh produce that comes from farmers right here in our valley.
We love downtown Fresno.
pasture-grazed, delicious, nutrient-dense, 100% organic raw milk from Organic Pastures. Visit organicpastures.com or call 1-877-RAW-MILK.
Central. CentralValleyTalk.com.
Okay, we're back. This is the last segment. Boy, time really flies. So I've been talking about the Spiritual Awareness Center now in Fresno. I'm talking about Science of Mind, New Thought in our lives and the power that we have to create new lives. And we'll continue along these thoughts over our next shows, and we'll talk more about the Spiritual Awareness Center being in Fresno. We got about a little over 500,000 people in the local area here, and there's a lot of those people, and you may be one of them that's looking for a place to express your spirituality, to be to make a spiritual connection, and not be tied to older dogmatic teachings. And not to say that there's anything wrong with someone that chooses to believe that way. We all need to believe where we're at our own point in our own consciousness. And so I encourage people, no matter what their beliefs are, to connect with a organization that supports their spirituality, for sure. But if you're looking for a place where you can express what we consider a greater understanding of an infinite, omniscient, omnipotence, and omnipresence God, then we invite you to the Spiritual Awareness Center in our new location. Once again, that's at 4644 West Jennifer in Fresno, out near Shaw 99. But as we go through this, it's a journey. Our spiritual walk is an incredible journey. It's not a rush to get to an end point. It's not a job that we have to do. As you begin to experience within yourself an awakening, an awareness, an unfolding of the true spiritual being that we believe that we are, it's self-empowering. It's exciting. Imagine watching your life unfold in front of you in a way that you see yourself and have experienced yourself as a co-creator of that unfoldment. It's extremely gratifying, but it's energizing, and it meets our human needs on so many different levels that it's incredible. It's incredible to watch it unfold in people's lives. I get excited about it. I came to this not with the intention of becoming a minister. My journey started for me as an understanding for myself in something that I always felt within me to be true, but never found a place that expressed that truth until I showed up one day at a Science of Mind center, and I began to listen to what they were saying, and I went, that resonates with me. And I began to study, and the more I studied, the more I realized that really resonates with me. And as I continued my studies, I thought, what an incredible understanding that I have had the opportunity to experience and now to express in my life. And it was at that time my mentor and teacher, Dr. Angelo Pizzello, turned to me and asked me, if I was ready to possibly follow a path of a minister. And I turned it down out of hand, not thinking, I had no intention. But the seed was planted, and over the years, with continued study and growth and understanding, it took off within me. And now this is what I do. I share this understanding with people. This is one of the venues with which I do it here on this show, New Thought Talk. I do it Sunday. I do it in classes. I do it in public speaking engagements. I've had an opportunity to be taken to other parts of the world to share this and be keynote speakers in national conventions, and it's been a wonderful experience and expression. It's opened many doors for me to meet some incredible people. Some of those people are near, and some of them are as nearby as my computer to be in touch with them. But you can also, if you choose to, and I bring this up because if you go to our webpage, which is maderasac.com, for the Spiritual Awareness Center, you'll find a link there where you can email me. You can also find a link there where you can make a donation if you would like, if you feel so inclined to support this ministry. We touch so many people and on so many levels, but it does cost money. And so every dollar that's donated, we put forth to help support this ministry so that we can continue through programs like this and through other outreaches we have, reach out and touch people and make things available to people, to allow them to empower themselves, to allow them to help them find sinners that are near to where they are, where they live. There are a couple of online resources that I like to refer to often. One of them is called the New Thought Library. And if you Google New Thought Library or go to newthoughtlibrary.net or org or something like that, you will find a resource there of early writings from many of the pioneers within the New Thought movement. People like Ernest Holmes and the Fillmores and various other prominent New Thought teachers that laid the foundation for what we share today. You can go to something called findasinner.com, and it's another link where you can pretty much find anywhere in the world if there's an address to be found of a location that you can go to. And these are powerful tools, and I encourage you to use them. But like I say, you can also reach out to me if you choose. You can contribute to our ministry if you'd like. You can show up at the Spiritual Awareness Center if you want to. Any of those ways are ways that help you in your search and your journey. I'm happy to answer questions always via email, and I've had the opportunity to speak with people all over the world. So it's been a wonderful experience, and it's been wonderful to watch this unfold. So with that, I think I pretty much covered everything that I planned on covering today. So I can't think of anything else other than to wish you a great week and to say that the light of God surrounds you, and the love of God enfolds you, and the power of God protects you. The presence of God watches over you, because truly, wherever you are, God is there. All is well. Have a great week, and I'll see you when I come back.
Here at Central Valley Talk, we've chosen Select Business Systems to provide for our copy, print, and scanning needs. We used to think it was cheaper to purchase our own toner and maintain our own office equipment. But now, with the expertise and experience of Select Business Systems, our office workflow is running at peak performance, saving our company time and money. They've truly set us up with our new sharp multifunction copier, streamlining our office with the press of a button. To find out how you can improve your office technology, call Select Business Systems at 446-0123 or visit their website at selectsharp.com.
This segment was brought to you by Pro Travel Network Fresno. For all your vacationing planning, call Jennifer Rogers at 559-317-6735.
Hi, Haven Young here again. Hey, join Mike Briggs and myself here at Central Valley Talk Studios, 1212 North Van Ness at Olive, the second and fourth Saturday at 2 p.m. That's August 13th and 27th. We're going to show you some more information on Moringa oleifera and give away a 6-day trial pack. That's right. Show up and you might win a 6-day trial pack. And if you can't be here, go to our website, mostnutritiousPlant.com. Don't forget the hyphens. See you here.
CentralValleyTalk.com